Hello everybody, this is the Relevant Podcast and today we will be talking about the Hardik Pandya and KL Rahul controversy. So we all know that KL Rahul and Hardik Pandya appeared on the Coffee with Karan show and they made some comments which many people found objectionable and they found them sexist and so a ban is being put no not a ban. I think they are being called off from the tour that's currently going on in Australia and they are being suspended. And Hardik Pandya also lost a sponsorship deal, and there are also people are wanting to them to be dropped from their respective IPL franchisees. So what are my thoughts on that? First, I didn't find even one sentence in the whole show objectionable. I think that it was basically let's go over all the statements made by them. First, Hardik Pandya said that he prefers to talk to women in a bar on the basis of how they dance. I think that's a bit shallow, but it's not sexist because it's his preference. Uh, I think when I there are a better quality that should be looked a woman should be judged on, but I don't think that dancing should be a criteria, but that's just his preference and there's nothing anybody can do about that. And the second thing that he said that they prefer they decide which guy is gonna go with which woman uh, before they approach them. Now that's a little bit on the edge of objectification of women, but it's not so bad if you think about it, because it's against the personal choice. No matter how shallow it sound, no matter how stupid it sound, but that's just personal preference. Now, the problem that comes here is that they are perceived as role model. So people who follow them, they are gonna behave like that. So on that, I think that it's not it's not their responsibility first. How are people gonna perceive them? They are behaving originally how they are. So if any I also think that a person of that stature should have responsibility, but that should be self created. It should not be forced on them, because that will be a violation of freedom. All right. So that are my thoughts on particular this issue. And there are also comment that Hardik said that I'm always hard dick or something like that. That just he addressing that people may make fun of his jokes. So I don't think there's any problem with that. Now, what people found a problem with that it can be seen by people who are easily impressed with that. So to that, I think that everybody knows the nature of the show. So nobody now we are in the territory of censorship. So personal, my view on censorship is that if something is objection, there should be a board that should decide. No, I have not thought much about that. Let's move on to the next topic. What I think of what are my views on the how the interview went. I think that it was very candid. They spoke originally of how they are, no matter you like it or not. And I personally liked their behavior. Why? Because I'm not used to seeing such kind of behavior on television. I know that it exists. I know that it can be seen as a good, as a bad, as whatever you like to see it, but it's not generally talked about in public, or that's not how we see celebrities behave like that. So that's a little fresh and kind of a breaking the rule kind of behavior. So that I want to personally see that on the screen, because I think it lets for how people are, how people behave, how people perceive things in the open, and make it a point to discuss, and make it into a discussion point. That's my take on that. And I think that the reaction that all the controversy got was a bit from the regressive side, because if you think like that, you should not be able to You should not think about what other people think. You should mind your own business. There are whole people devoting, there are journalists devoting their career, there are people devoting their time, their energy to take somebody down. Now that, I think, it's a problem with. And now also, I also listened to Bilbar, and that he also said something about that destroying the career, canceling the career, that kind of thing. That's already going on in the US from a long time, has already come to India, and people are asking for to people, creating a system where a whole career can be destroyed of a person. Now that is something objectionable, because you also make mistakes sometime, you also apologize for it, but that should not be a career ending mistake. These minor mistakes should not be, should have a minor punishment according to that. If you think like that, I don't know, I do not think that it was any kind of mistake that deserved punishment. But I also think that I'm also influenced by a lot of freedom of the speech lectures. I also follow Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, and people like that, and I like their ideology. Not all of it, but their view on such kind of things I find fascinating, because they talk a lot. They talk about responsibility, but they also talk about freedom. So that's a major issue. I think the discussion should lie in that area of that, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.